The Marvel Rivals community is the only thing keeping this game alive besides the professional scene and the casual players. But this community has a lot of problems that cause drama, people crashing out on social media like Twitter, Reddit, complaining about the game, and you have people being toxic in-game. And I'm gonna give my reasons as to why this community is kinda cooked, or why this community is basically just so horrible. And this is coming from a person that plays this game on a casual level. The only game on I play is ranked, and I kinda just hit scan. So yeah, just take my opinion as someone that barely plays this game and only plays ranked and only plays hit scan. My first reason why this community is cooked is, first of all, is the player base mindset when it comes to playing this game. Most of them are just hypocrites, entitled, and most of them have the worst takes possible. Most of them are just casual gamers. If you solo queue ranked, or even if you're queued up with someone and you're playing ranked, anywhere between Diamond, GM, or Celestial, the people you run into literally are all on the verge of crashing out. Most of them have already had either on a losing streak, a winning streak, or most of them just believe they know better when it comes to winning the game and don't know how to play this game. That's what I mean. When you run into people that are so hard-headed and don't want to switch up or don't want to adapt to the current circumstances when it comes to a certain team composition, most of them will literally just be so petty and not do anything. Most of them would just lock in Widow. Actually, no, that's kind of obvious. The people that I go up against, they don't just lock in Widow. Those people are just, they're their own type of people. The common people that you run into that are petty don't want to adapt to anything. They believe what they're doing is way better than what you're doing. For example, let's say you guys have a balanced team composition. You're running 2 tanks, 2 supports, and 2 DPS. The moment something isn't going right, you guys are in a stalemate with the other team where nothing is dying, everyone has their ultimates up. But the moment you try to suggest like, yo, let's play off angles, let's play something else, because obviously we're not getting any kills, we're not capturing the point, we're kind of just stagnant. And the moment you try to do something completely different, they will not follow that protocol at all. They won't even try to listen to what you have to say, because this game has been out for 9 seasons already. I mean, not 9 seasons, 8 seasons already. People have been playing this game ever since it came out, and they already have a way of playing. But the way they play is super. It's just really constructed in a way just to win the game. It's not to improve as an individual player. It's not to understand the game. All they want to do is just win. So they'll find the only solution that makes them win. They don't try different solutions. All they keep doing is following the same thing that works for them. And that's why they end up being hard stuck. But that's what I mean. This community doesn't let you have a different way of playing. And if you try to play a different way, you either don't want to commit to what you're trying to suggest, or they just say that you're throwing and that you don't know any better. But yeah, back to my example, even if, let's say they try to adapt, or let's say they try to listen to what you have to say, when they try to force that gameplay style that they're not comfortable with, they already have a bias that it isn't going to work. For example, let's say you're a good DPS player, or let's just say you're a good tank player, and it's like, yo, let's play something completely different. Instead of doing this, let's take an off angle altogether, or let's all dive at the same time. Everyone push at the same time, everyone heal each other, basically take a risky play. People are so 50-50 when it comes to this. Half of them be like, all right, I'm going to try it. And the other half is like, no, this isn't going to work. I'm going to die instantly. I'm going to get dove. And that's what I mean. People just have go in and go out. And when they do that, they don't fully commit to your play. So when it loses, all it confirms into their head is like, see, this person doesn't know how to play. And if they played my way, we would have won. We would have won. So this community is already hung up on how they play. They don't want to adapt. They believe in what they believe in is that they know how to play better. So now you're kind of just cooked. Now you do. That's why most people, especially people that play DPS, one of the common things you do is try to take off angles. Because playing in main, playing with your team and just trying to shoot the front line, hoping that you get a pick is like the most not boring, but the most basic and low chance of actually winning the game. To win the game is to take off angles, to take risky plays. But if your team sees you trying to do that, or you try to do that on your own time, you usually get punished so hard because the enemy team can just pick you off. But your teammates won't see that. They just see that you dying, and they basically say that you're trolling. Another thing is that this community is a bunch of hypocrites. If you go triple DPS, if you go quadruple DPS, most people will instantly say that you're throwing. They don't want to see you succeed. They don't want to see triple DPS. They don't want to see quadruple DPS. All they want to see is 2 DPS, 2 tanks, and 2 supports. But the moment they go triple support, the moment they go triple tank and something else, they don't have any complaints. They'll be like, all right, I'm okay with this. But the moment they see damage, they don't want to see that at all. When they see more than 2 DPS heroes, they immediately think that this game is being trolled, that you're just throwing, and that you don't want to win. The only reason they get like this is because they keep running into matches where people are going more than 2 DPS. But that's what I mean. People don't want to see different gameplay styles. They're entitled to their gameplay, they're entitled to their time, they're entitled to enjoyment. So when they come into this game, they just want what they want. They don't want to settle for anything less. Why do you think Invis got her self shield? Because so many supports were just complaining and so many supports were just dying to dive that they weren't going to spend a dedicated time to learning how to adapt to dive. Most of them would rather complain, quit the game and keep complaining about it and play something else. And Marvel Rivals isn't going to be forcing them to improve. They'll rather just cave in and get them, because if not, they're just going to quit the game. None of them are going to take the time to actually improve. And this also goes for certain heroes or certain abilities. These people will complain about, yeah, Invis, Cloak and Dagger, all these broken supports that have broken abilities, that have broken ultimates, that have simple to easy to use abilities and ultimates that provide a lot of value. They would say it's balanced. But the moment a dive hero, the moment a dive tank, anything that puts out a lot of damage like they do, or give it a lot of value for easy to no skill, they will immediately start complaining about it and basically threaten to leave this game and complain that it's not for the casual players and it's not fair. But Cloak and Dagger's bubble that basically stops people from diving, Invis's self shield that basically stops you from dying as well, Gambit's ultimate, Luna Snow's damage but also has a snowball that can stun you and basically kill you if you get stunned. All these things, they don't consider it broken. But anything that's dive, like Spider-Man, Black Panther, all these people will complain about that though, even though Black Panther is the worst designed hero they ever released. The only thing he's good for is literally dive. Put him in the front line, he's not doing anything. But they would complain everything besides themselves. And it gets even crazier when you start talking about the hero balancing, the team composition. What really gets to me is that they never think that they are the problem. For example, you guys end up losing a game and there was support. They will never think to themselves, I was the problem. But I had good healing stats. I had least amount of devs. I was always using my ultimate at the right time. They never believed that they could have done anything better or could have done anything different to win the game. They honestly believe that they could have done nothing wrong simply because they're playing the easiest role in the whole game. Support is so easy and straightforward, but to get the best maximum value out of it, you have to play in certain ways depending on the support hero you play. But most supports that see their stats being good, they don't think like this. They just believe in their stats and that's it. And that's what I mean. Most of them just feel entitled. Most of them just go on autopilot, just want to have a good time. And they basically believe in stats. They even believe in their hours, the amount of hours they have in this game. They believe like, oh yeah, if I have 500 hours on a game, have 2 champion icons on Invis, Cloak and Dagger, or any of these heroes, they honestly believe that they should be a higher rank, that they know what they're talking about. But most of the time that isn't really the case. Most of them just play and that's it on a casual level. The last thing I'm going to say is probably going to wrap up what it really relates to if you play in-game. If you play competitive or if you play ranked by yourself, one of the things these people are toxic. Since supports think they can do no wrongs because they're playing the easier role and they're just healing half the time, even though they don't really push up with you, they don't really do anything different to help out the team. Since most of them already believe they're not in the wrong, the moment you start doing something that they don't like is when they feel the most comfortable to be toxic. Especially if you're on tank or DPS. If they think you're doing bad, basically start going invoice or start typing that you're bad and that you need to get off this game. But that's what I mean. They usually end up being toxic because they honestly believe they're in the right. They feel comfortable. They actually feel like they feel justified in what they're saying. But honestly, if you were to flip it around, if you were to say, all right, let's switch roles. Since obviously I'm not doing good as tank or DPS, how about let's switch roles? How about you get off Invis? How about you get off whatever support you're running? Or even tank. Let's say the tank players are complaining about, all right, let's say you get off Strange or Magneto. And let's say, let me play Invis instead. Let me play Magneto instead. Let me see you play DPS. Let me see you play Hela. Let me see you play anything besides Squirrel Girl. And let me see how many eliminations you can get. And the moment you can't get eliminations, I'm going to start complaining about you being bad at the game. That's when their hypocrisy comes, because they will start complaining like, no, I don't play this. I don't play DPS. I'm like, what happened to most of the people complaining like, well, if you can only play DPS, you shouldn't be playing rank. You should be knowing how to play every type of hero. But the moment they can't play DPS, I'm like, all right, then why are you playing rank if you don't know how to play DPS? The only thing I see you have is like, what? 90% of your game time is on support and like what, 10 hours is put on tank and barely any of it is put into DPS at all. But see, this is the problem with our Rivals community. Most of them are just the vast majority of players. Like this community is really filled up with casual players and basically maybe like 20 to 10% is filled with competitive professional players. But yeah, dealing with this community is the only thing that's basically keep this game alive, but also keeps this game kind of frustrating in play. Because besides the heroes being unbalanced, besides the matchmaking being garbage, when you get into gaming and you actually have to deal with this stuff, the players you get on your team and the players you go up against is literally the worst thing to deal with. There's so many games where I just end up getting blamed simply for not getting enough eliminations. But the moment I try to get more eliminations, the moment I try to play off angles, the moment I try to play more differently and try to improve, it never works out simply because simply because the supports on your team never want to adapt or play differently. They don't want to take any risk. They don't want to push up with you. Even the tank players, they don't want to take any angles, risky plays, nothing. Because all they want to do is have a good time and don't want to play anything risky. But yeah, this community is fried. I wish there was some way to see the hidden MMR in this game, because I feel like my hidden MMR is probably was high because I got it to GM pretty fast. But now I'm getting to games where like I'm putting with people that have a lot of hours in this game, but I don't have a lot of hours in this game. So I just get people that just know better, know more about the game, but are also more toxic because they believe they know more than me. Which could be true, but most of them are hard stuck for a reason. And yeah.